Before we begin, make sure to keep the firearm pointed in a safe direction at all times. Remove the magazine from the magazine well and pull on the charging handle several times, visually inspecting to make sure there are no rounds in the chamber.
So the rifle's clear, completely unloaded. Bolt forward. Bolt has to be forward in order to take the rifle apart. I find it easier to use some type of tool to push the pins from one side to the other. They'll only go one direction. Once you've pushed those pins, the two halves will separate. As far as the lower, you can use your brush, clean the area around the hammer. If you want to let that go forward, do so very easily. You would have to put it on fire and just ease that hammer forward. Do not let it slam forward. That way you can clean back in here. 1 or 2 drops of oil is going to be more than sufficient. Just remember, before you put it back together, that hammer's got to be back in the cocked position. Put it back on safe, set it aside. Upper, take the bolt and bolt carrier out. Bolt charging handle can be set aside. Taking the bolt apart from the bolt carrier. Get hold of the firing pin retaining pin, looks like a small cotter pin. Pull that all the way out. It should have a small separation there. Do not bend it, turn it, leave it the way it is. Once that's out, the firing pin will come out. With the bolt pushed all the way back in, turn the cam pin 90 degrees so you can pull it out. And at that point you can pull the bolt out. Of course, all of this would need to be cleaned. Take your brush, a little bit of solvent, clean the bolt really good. Make sure you're looking at your gas rings, that the notches in the gas rings are not all lined up. They should be offset from one another. Clean the lugs of the bolt. Clean all of this. Clean the firing pin, a little bit of solvent. It will help tremendously with that. Inside, again, make sure all of that is cleaned. You can brush a lot of that stuff out. The locking lugs, there is a tool for that in the cleaning kit that comes with the rifle. So you can use this brush, fits in there perfectly. So you can clean that. There's a little T-handle for that. Get those good and clean. Once that's done, run your bore snake through the barrel. Again, that should have been in your cleaning kit. Make sure you're putting it through the same direction that the bullet travels. So starting from this end all the way through. Once you push it through far enough to get a good grip on it, you can simply take hold of it, pull it all the way through. After you've got that a couple of times, there are patches and another little attachment that you could put on the bore snake to get it nice and clean. So another area to pay attention to, inside you see the little silver gas tube. Make sure that area around that is clean. The pipe cleaners in your cleaning kit work really well for that, and you can actually work the inside of that just a little bit, just to make sure there's no carbon buildup. We can get inside of there. Do not bend it, don't get crazy with it, but you can work a nice little loop there and just clean around it, making sure that that area is nice and clear. Once everything is clean, a little bit of oil on your bolt, a little bit of oil just in here where the charging handle is going to go. A little bit of oil on the charging handle makes everything work nicely. Reassembly. Bolt. Put the bolt back in the carrier. Make sure that the extractor side lines up over here with the Christensen Arms logo. Don't put it in backwards. Once that's lined up, cam pin goes back in. Should drop in freely, rotate at 90 degrees. You can pull the bolt back forward. Firing pin is going to drop all the way down in. Once the firing pin is in, firing pin, retaining pin goes back in. You may have to turn it or move it just a little bit, but it should press in completely flush. Quick check on that. Your bolt should articulate, pushing back in. You throw it, it should come back out. Don't throw it across the room. Charging handle, start partway in, it will drop into its notch and fit in nicely. This works really well upside down. Put it all back together until it latches in place. From there, you're ready to reassemble the upper onto the lower. Once that's in place, push your 2 pins. It's back in place. Function check. Pull the charging handle. With an empty magazine in place, it should lock open. Again, make sure the rifle's clear. You can function check it. With it on safe, pull the trigger, nothing should happen. Selector to fire. And again, everything is working beautifully.